The IFO ran a 5-day training programme on small-scale sawmilling. The aim is to increase the knowledge base around this activity.
If you can imagine you're a forest owner and you're going to have this product, there's very, very few farm products that with a little small activity you can change into a saleable item that you can sell to the general public.
My folks are forest owners and we have a farm at home. Used to be dairy, and my mum's just retired. No one in the family really has interest in taking over dairying, so I do veg myself, and we have a bit of forestry in the land, and it's just something that we'd be looking to get into in the future.
So I'm actually here with my dad, and we live on a farm. We have a few trees fallen, and I make a bit of furniture, so we started trying to harvest these wind-felled logs for timber, make a bit of furniture out of them.
The course was structured as a peer-to-peer learning experience.
Yeah, the peer-to-peer is great as well, like that, because we can all research stuff nowadays on the internet and all the rest, but you'd spend maybe years what you can gain in a few days here talking to the different people who have that experience in different areas.
Each of the 5 days was led by someone with real experience in the industry. The focus was on milling and important health and safety considerations.
So the debarker goes in first and cuts that bark down to the white timber. So when the blade is going in, it just goes into the white timber. And it doesn't matter that side because it's pulling out.
Changing a blade is about 2 minutes, and off you go again. You get about nice clean logs, you get about 2 hours sawmilling. You have to change the blade anyway for a resharpen, because it's a very sharp blade, and you want nice clean cuts, you want straight cuts, you want the boards all to be equal, because that's what the customer would like.
And you can flip the saw 90 degrees or whatever and it'll cut, but they only cut a depth of 9 inches normally. Now you can double up on that by sort of going at it from both sides. They're marvellous saws because they're easy to maintain. The blades sort of run much easier than band saws.
I also tried a mobile sawmill, band sawmill, as a wood miser. And of all of them, the mobile wood miser was the most efficient. We got the most cubic feet per hour out of it compared to all of the others.
Every boat builder wants a different length, different size. Some boat builders might want more of a bend, some might want less of a bend. So you'd select the log accordingly to what the customer had kind of specified. And we'd set it up on the saw then with the bend in the right direction, parallel to the heart of the tree, and then we just saw true and true. So you're left with the wainy edge, both sides of the plank.
Sawing is the first step in the process, but over the 5 days the participants got hands-on tuition in the importance of drying timber. All freshly cut wood has a high moisture content, and it is important to stack the freshly milled boards properly to ensure that the moisture level reduces slowly to an ambient level of between 17 to 20%.
I don't normally cut oak after Easter because you get a couple of days like this and it'll just split. It'll be destroyed. So it's best to cut it probably before Christmas time. Stack it and let it dry. It will dry slowly, and then by the time that sort of dry weather comes, it's not going to split.
Well, I think I've learned a lot today, actually. Even the way John was talking about, how you stack your timber. Like I was kind of using, I'd cut bits, slats, but I didn't realise, I did see how sometimes it marked the timber, but it never really, it's really obvious when he said it, it's common sense, but that's a nice little thing I learned today.
Particularly today now, the drying timber, we're newcomers at planking and drying timber, so it was really useful.
I learned about obviously the sawing process itself, the different types of saws, the different ways of sawing logs, how to dry them.
While participants learned a lot about the basics of sawmilling, they also identified areas where further work is needed and discussed how to get their product to the market.
I think we probably need to identify a grading system that would suit Irish hardwood timbers and adopt it universally. So I would have to change my names to whatever they're going to be, 2A and 2B, or something else much less exciting than mine. And, you know, I think we can help each other, we can help potential customers, and I think we can put Irish hardwood timber on the map for architects and various people who should be using it.
When you move to the hardwoods, they're not really construction timber. So you're looking at furniture, you're looking at things that the colour, the grey and everything plays into place.
The private growers have a vast amount of other conifers planted and hardwoods planted, longer rotation, but they will be coming online. And I suppose it's to make sure that there is markets and viable markets. They are fantastic timbers with all different types of great qualities in them.
Key woodland management interventions were discussed at Manch Estate in Cork. Producing quality timber starts in the forest.
Oak doesn't regenerate well unless it's got lots of light. And the French rule of thumb is that you have to have a gap at least 1.5 times the height of the surrounding trees to get oak to regenerate properly. So we're trying to do it artificially by planting up existing gaps.
Matty O'Malley believes that it is the small-scale millers who hold the knowledge that is key to this industry thriving.
I think it's the way forward with the bespoke timber that we discussed today, I think, and what we discussed in my place. It doesn't make sense commercially in a large scale, and by its nature, it requires certain techniques in the sawing which isn't viable really in the big mills,
Startup costs for a milling operation are affordable, and this focus on the economics reality was valued by the participants.
The level of investment in small-scale sawmilling is very modest. You're talking about under 10,000 for a small-scale sawmill, and with that you can actually set up and produce something. There's a market out there that's crying for a genuinely Irish product. And if we can get a genuine Irish product that was produced locally, sold locally, I think then we can charge a little bit of a premium.
To focus in on that economic value, that was really stressed, I thought, in the programme. How to identify it, how to grow it on, how to cut it and extract it, mill it yourself, hopefully, and get the maximum return out of it. That's the key thing I'm taking out of the whole experience.
The IFO have identified a big need for timber in local schools around the country.
We had a chat with some of the local schools about what they're doing, and they are very, very anxious to buy local if they can, to buy timber where there's a progeny that they can see where them trees came from, because otherwise, although it might be certified, you don't know. It came from a proper managed forest, but you don't know where actually it came from.
This 5-day course has been a first step for the IFO, and as the industry grows, so will the appetite for locally produced quality timber.
This grouping that's here, and we would hope probably to go on to be able to keep the group together and create a sustainable network of sawmillers across the country. I think that would be a goal, and if you can do that, then we can, you might just get something back. Bearing in mind that back at the turn of the century, every townland had a sawmill, and we're all talking about circular economy and going, something we have to look back to go on, and so to be able to go back to that, certainly somewhat anyway, would be satisfying. Yeah.
Contact the IFO to get in touch with your local group and find out about upcoming opportunities.